Tom Porter, but my real name is Sakokunyupas, and I belong to the Bear Clan of the Mohawk people. I'm married to a Choctaw woman from Mississippi, and we have 6 kids, 5 girls and 1 boy, and we got 15 grandkids and 7 great-grandkids. And I think there's more on the way coming, some pretty soon. We try to maintain our language and our spiritual beliefs, ceremonies, and our land. And it's always been a struggle, all since contact. Fighting and struggling and politicking, trying to keep our traditions alive, our language. So to give you an example of the language, when we say father, when you talk to your father, you say, a real Mohawk says, lagani, lagani. And the root word, what you're saying when you say that, you're not saying father and you're not saying dad. What you're saying is, the root word is wahakani, lagani, wahakani. You hear it? It's almost the same word. It means, if he was my father, and I'm going to talk to him, I would say to him before I talk to him, lagani. That means, you loaned it to me, I'm living. And that's what you tell your father every time when you say, lagani, you loaned it to me, I'm living. That's how powerful that language is. And it has an inbuilt respect and a love. And then a Mohawk people, they'll say to their mother, Istan. And what you're saying, when you say Istan to your mother, you're saying, you are my power. You are my strength. And that's what it means when you say Istan. My power, my strength. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So those, and the other thing about our language is when we count from 1 to 10, for instance, Aska, Dikini, Asan, Kayeli, Wisk, Yayak, Jada, Sadeko, Kyukton, Oyeli. When we count from 1 to 10, doesn't matter if you're counting pennies, or if you're counting cars, or if you're counting people, from 1 to 10, what you are in fact doing is reciting the major chapters of creation story. Well, when you count from 1 to 10, it talks about that story. Automatically, when you count from 1 to 10, anything, you are sort of secretly and camouflagey reciting the creation story. And I tell people, because one of my uncles told me that the Creator knew that we were going to be colonized someday, and our way of belief would be attacked and maybe even destroyed. And so the Creator hid our knowledge in different ways, camouflaging it. So the colonized people come to destroy it, can't kill it, all of it. And so that's why in our numbers, it's in there, our whole creation story. And that's helped our people too, to regain their knowledge from the colonizational period. And we still use that. And that's used in our Freedom School as well. Well, all the schools that have been available to the Native people in Canada and the United States up until a few decades ago, has been American or Canadian school. And of course, any native language is not permitted to be spoken in those schools, especially in the time when I was a youngster. It was forbidden completely to even speak the language, even to another Mohawk. They forbid the language to even be spoken, let alone teach it. And today, as a result, probably, I'm guessing, maybe 80% of the children in most Indian nations, when you look at the whole continent, probably are not able to speak their native language anymore, because for the last 6 or 7 generations, they've been forced and punished if they spoke their language, and they're not permitted to know their history or their spiritual or traditional customs at all. Because the law now protects that since 78, now we are starting to revive our traditions and our language, and the atmosphere and environment is conducive to it. So now we're taking advantage of it, and we're trying to make our own schools. And so what we do at our little Akwesasne Freedom School, which is now 40 years old, is all the instruction is completely in Mohawk in the Mohawk language. Now we have people who started when they were 4 years old at the Freedom School, who are now graduates, because after they finished our school, they went to a Canadian or American high schools, and then on to college or universities. And then they received their bachelor's or their master's, and some their PhDs. And so now, after 40 years, some of our kindergarten kids are now the principal or director of our Freedom School, and are the teachers themselves of the school. So there's been a recycling, a complete circle, which is really nice to see. So it's very successful. Because of the Freedom School and other movements, now I will tell you that people my age or older than I am, who do run the ceremonies and all the things of our tradition and things, cultural things, spiritual things, it doesn't matter if we die tomorrow, because in the Mohawk, in the Haudenosaunee, especially Mohawk, if we die tomorrow, there's people that's 20 years old, 25 years old, that can run the burial ceremonies. And I've seen them do it. There's people that's young men and women who can run the marriage ceremonies without us. There's people that can run all the whole year's ceremony by themselves without us old people. And when we see that, we're not afraid to die, because they will be able to continue. And that's a great hope. That's a great, great accomplishment.